What's going on, guys? Welcome to Lazy Coder. I am your host Newton, and today we're going to be making a very cool JavaScript project. Basically, we are going to learn how to create HTML elements using plain vanilla JavaScript. We're also going to learn how to append those elements that we have created to our HTML DOM. We will also using JavaScript to do CSS styling instead of using CSS. We'll also learn how to use the JavaScript and set interval method to call the block of code for a particular number of time. We will also do styling. Today before we'll do styling using vanilla JavaScript. We'll also learn how to animate objects using vanilla JavaScript. So do get your laptop, get a coffee. If you have a coffee, if you don't have coffee, get hot water to always stay hydrated, and sit back and relax. Thanks. So guys, you can see I have a blank HTML file here. So the first thing we are going to do is open up our HTML boilerplate by hitting shift and exclamation mark. Then we can hit enter to open that up. So okay, let's come here. The only thing we are going to do here basically is just write a div. We are just writing only an empty div here. We have nothing inside this div. So we can come here to kind of link our style sheet, our JavaScript style sheet, to what we are writing. We have a source there. Oh, sorry, not style, script and source. We are going to link our script, our JavaScript to our HTML. So in this source, you can see here also we have an index.js. Let me open this well so that you can see. You can see here we have another file called index.js. So in this source, we can just write index door, and you can see we have JS. Just click on that. So save that. Then we open our JavaScript file. So the first thing we are going to do here is call the div that we created in our HTML. So I just say const. I can say const div, then an equals. You know how to use the document dot query selector. Okay, I have a query selector there. Open up a bracket. Basically, if you look at the div we had there, we did not give it a class nor an ID, but we just had a plain div. So what we can just do, we can just call the name of the div, which is basically div. Just try that there, because if you open up our HTML, sorry, you can see yes, the div. So we can use the query selector to call this guy here, to call this particular guy this div. Now we can manipulate anything in that div. But first, let's leave that aside. Then the next thing we're going to do, I want us to style the div. I don't want us to use CSS in this course. We're using only JavaScript. So the first thing we're going to do, let's say div.style position. I want the position of that div to be fixed to a particular point. So when I say div.style position, I mean for this div, I want to style it. Basically, that's what it means. For this div, I want to style it. And what I want to style in this div is the position of the div. Just like as you write it in CSS. You know, if I want to style this thing in CSS, I just have to call this div and just say position fixed relative and that. So we open some bracket and write fixed. We save that. Let's open this with live server. Sorry. Basically, you're not going to see anything on our screen now because okay, you can see we just have an empty screen. But yeah, no problem. Let's open up VS Code again. I'll make this guy a little bit shorter now. Sorry, let me do this too. Okay, hope you can see that better now. So the next thing we're going to do is set a width. So I can say div.width. No, div.style.width. think this thing is too blurry. Let me get that back. Div.style.width. I still write an equals. Let's say 800 pixels. Sorry, that should be 800 pixels. That's for the width. So we're going to do for the height. So instead of writing that out, let me just copy this guy. Command C if you are using Mac, or Control C if you are using Windows. So you can paste that. Then instead of width here, let me change this to height, because if you create a width, you should also create an height for it. Save that. I'm not still seeing anything yet. Now to see if I've actually done something, we need to give the div a background color. So what I'll just do, I'll still copy that guy here, and I'll change this width to background color. I write background or background color, but I like writing background color most times. Background color, and I think gray will be a perfect color. So let's say gray, and hope that works. When we save that, good. Let me get this guy out of the way. Now you can see we have a div 800 by 800 pixels and a background color of gray, and this guy is also fixed. So no matter what, we can't scroll. There's a reason why I made that guy fixed. I'll tell you later. So now we need to create an element inside this div. And to create a new element, there's a JavaScript method called create element. So let me just call my element. Okay, let me just say const h1. It's not an h1 element, but I'll just say const h1 equals document the create element. Now you can open a bracket for that and write the name of the element you want to create. I want to create a new div, so I'll just put div inside there. Then the next thing I will do is save that. I have that saved now. Now we need to append that this div that we have created to this parent div we have here. To do that, we can just say div dot append child, open brackets. Now we need to put that h1 that we created. Now basically we can't see anything for that h1. So to do that, now let's create styles for this h1 also. Let's create new style. So we can write h1 dot style dot background and set that to, let's say, cyan. See if that's out here. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is create an height h1 dot style dot height. Let's give the height about let's say 100 pixels. Then we also need to create a width. Let me just grab this guy here, Command C or Control C depending on what you are using. Hit that up and change this guy to width. So let's save that and look behind. Good. Now you see we have successfully used our JavaScript to create a new HTML element, and we also gave it a style. So let's finish that guy up now. So we have what we have there. The next thing that we should do, let's say to make this guy more beautiful. Already have cyan. Okay, let's create a border radius for it to make it round. Style dot border radius. Just hit border and the right radius should complete here. Border radius. And if I just say 50% to make it the perfect cycle. Now I do hope you know the meaning of border radius. Well, border radius essentially means for all the edges of this of that square that we had, we need to cut it by 50% in order to make it a perfect circle. So if I were to write 20% here, you see It will not be a perfect cycle. So to make it a perfect cycle, we say 50%. Good. Now we have a perfect circle there. So the next thing we are going to do is create a margin top. So let's say h1 dot style dot margin top is equals, so let's say 50 pixels. Let's see what that was. Okay, see, we successfully pushed that guy 50 pixels away from the top. Now basically we don't actually want to do this. You know, from the example that I showed you, from what we had earlier, we had this circle moving from top of this side to the bottom right of the other side of the div that we had here. So let's clean that up. Now we need to create, okay, before I do that, before I create our function, let's do something. Let's write our h1 dot style dot margin top. Let's take out that guy. I want to show you something first before we create what we need to do. 50 pixels. Let's copy this guy. Copy. Then we can also create. Okay, let me draw that here. And here we write the margin left because we are pushing the guy from the top downwards, and we're also pushing it to this other side. So I can still see margin left. We will change these things later, but I just want to show you something first. Okay, so basically this is what we have now. 50 pixels from the top going to the bottom, 50 pixels from the left going to the right. So you can see that now. So if we were to put that code that we write now in a set interval function, and we have the interval call in every second, we'll be able to push this guy by ourselves continuously, and it will just follow this pattern down to the bottom of the div that we created. So in order to do that, first we have to, let's set the position. So let's come here. I hope you are following what I write. So let's come here. The first thing I'm going to do is call position. So we say left position. And yes, let me spell that right so that I would have errors later. Let's say left position, and we initiate our position to 0. Let's say that. Okay. So what we can actually do now, let me show you something. So let me clear this guy out. I want to introduce you to something called inverted. You can call them, I call them squeezely, inverted commas. I hope you're hearing, they are called template strings. Yeah, just remember that now. So in order to get the position that we have here and set it to be, you know, this is an integer, and we cannot call an integer like that for this thing. It should be either a percentage or pixels. So in order to do that, we have to write this kind of inverted brackets. Then we'll put a $sign. Then after a $sign, we have our curly braces. Then in that we can write position. Now when we write position, this will set whatever we have here, whatever position that we have declared here, to our margin top. So let me save this for you to see. It's not going to work now, even though I have 20 here. I'm not sure. Yes, it would work. Why it won't work is because we are just calling this raw position here. So in order to add this, in order to make this guy work, we need to go outside of the position that we have called here and write something like px. So what JavaScript is going to do for us is write whatever number that we have in this position and concatenate it with this px that we have. So it will now be position 20 plus this px, making it to 20 pixels. So if you save that, you can see, yeah, it worked. But we need to make this guy 0. Need to make that guy 0. So let's go down and let's call this function set, right? Set, and you can see set interval here. We just hit that. Let me put it in the right format. Set interval. Go for this third one that you have here that have something like a square and hit enter. Okay, you can see now. While we set interval, it has already write the function for us. But in case it's not write the function for you like this, just pause the video and rewrite everything that you're seeing here. So in here, this interval, let me clear that up and write 1000, meaning 1 second, because it's actually calibrated in milliseconds. So inside this set interval, we have an opening and a closing bracket with these other brackets that we have here. This is actually an ES6 syntax. This is how we write functions in ES6. So this set interval has a function inside. And for this function, we want to do something. So the first thing we are going to do is the position that we created. Let's write. Or before that, let's first of all, let me copy this guy that we have outside here. Paste it here. Paste another one. So the first is a margin top. You know the other was margin left. Let me hit enter for that. So let's save that. You can see nothing worked. This is because whenever the function is calling this guy, it's calling it as 0. So even though we add 2 here, nothing is changing. Let's put 20. You can still see. Okay, it's moving a bit, but it stops once. This is because whenever the set interval call this guy in 1 second, it can only add 20 pixels to this 20 pixels that we have. You're making it 40 pixels. It can't do more than that. So in order to get to make it work properly, we need to come inside this set interval method and say position equals position plus, and we can just say 1. So if we add 0 as the initial position, whenever we call this function, the position will increment by 1. So it will, for every 1 second, it will be position 1 pixel, for another second position 2 pixels, position 3 pixels, 4 pixels, 5 pixels, and so on. So let's save that. And if you look at the screen, well, it's a bit slow. Let me make it faster. Let me just make this guy 10 milliseconds. So it will be very fast now. Okay, you can see we have something like a drop ball going down. Yeah, so we successfully animated this. Now the next thing to do is to create the colors. So first, let's go here and return this guy back to 1000. You can also mess around with these values here. I can turn this guy to 10, meaning make it 10 pixels for every second, and you can see it just slowly, but it's going slow, but the distance is covered in every second is quite much than what we had earlier. Yeah, so that's that for that. Let me refresh that for you to see. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is making those colors we had. So the first thing we are going to do is write an if block. Make it a little bit of space. Please write an if block. So let's say if, open the if block. Now we are writing this if block. Let me show you something. Let's assume when the ball gets here, it has crossed, let's say, 100 pixels. Whenever the ball is at this place that my cursor is on, let's say that is 100 pixels. whatever it gets here also is 200 pixels, and so on and so forth. So we can actually come here and say if the position is equals 100, we are trying to check if this set method has incremented this guy to 100. So whenever it's 100, it's 100 pixels. What we need when that happens is to change the h1. So we can say h1 style dot background color, and let's set that to red, and hope that works. So let's see, spray that works. So let me make this guy faster. Okay, no need. And you can see when we crossed 100, it turned this guy to red. Let me refresh that for you to see. You can see we have red now. So we have changed it for the first color. So we need to create another color, and to create another color we use the else if. So I can just come here and say else if, or if else. So I will check if the position now is at 200. So if the position, I'm specifying my left, the position is equals to 200. I see this thing has incremented the position to 200. Let's just copy this guy we had here, Ctrl C, paste it here, and we will change this guy to yellow. So let's save that, turn this up. Okay, that was really fast. So first cyan, red, and yellow. So we can still create more colors for it, and to create more colors for this guy, you just write another else if block, else if the position is equals to 300. I want you to change the color to pink. You can also write more styles on it if you want to. You can mess around with the code. Now I want to return this guy to 1 because initially we had that guy at 1, and then the speed, let's increase it a bit. So let's save that. You can see we have this. Okay, so basically that's it for this project. You can mess around with this code. You can make and you can try on your own making this guy bounce, but I will do that in another video. You can do that to make this guy bounce and kind of animate only in this box that we have here. So for example, when it's coming to this edge and you hit something like at this position here, you have it, hit it and come back. But remember, when you are doing that kind of projects, you need to be good with maths. Even though you are not good at maths, you need to understand what you are doing in order to carry out such projects. So thank you, see you in another video. Bye.